Did I hit you a little while?
All right, I'd like to call this work session together at 6:32 PM.
5:32?
5:32, sorry.
All right.
Correct myself there. Getting ahead of myself like that. The purpose of this work session like that is to work on a 5-year maintenance plan for the cemeteries in Wayne. And what I passed out here is I took the spreadsheet that Tom had created like that and just grabbed the columns that we need there. Use this as a worksheet so we can figure out what years we need to follow up with. At our last meeting, we had discussed there 2025, fiscal year 2025 and 2026. So I marked those yellow highlighters, the 2025, green highlighter, there's the 2026. And then the rest of them like that, we'll have to be able to fill in today like that. And I know Tom started on 2027, he's got some ideas there like that, so if you want to start with what you have, Tom. Like I said, this is a worksheet, and from this worksheet like that, Tom has started a final spreadsheet like that that we'll use to present to the cemetery trustees and the selectmen like that for the budget.
Can you review the 2025 means what and 2026 means what?
At our last meeting like that, we decided that if we were to do monument or headstone repairs like that, and fence repairs there, the Oil Mill Cemetery, the Sugar Hill Cemetery, and the Eaton cemeteries were the ones that we decided should be done in fiscal year 2025.
Okay. I thought that's what we were going to talk about today, is what's the plan?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we can go back to 2025
Yeah,
and
we
just
can go back, yeah.
recap. Yeah,
Because I'm not sure why, I know, let me back up. I understand what condition these cemeteries are in, but I'm not sure that I understand that they're the worst, or they're the ones that we should select. So I was hoping we were going to talk about that today.
yeah. But I think we picked those three for 2025 because they were the largest remaining cemeteries that had fairly significant amount of headstone repair
Needs
required.
for, maintenance or repair.
So it's like a funnel. We're taking the biggest one and putting it in biggest ones and going them.
So how do I see that on this? Because I see Collins has 131 in column number of headstones. Is it the next column that says broken, leaning?
It would be a combination of the broken headstones, the leaning headstones, headstones on the ground, and
Okay.
if we want to include the fence issues and vegetation issues.
Okay,
Those columns there are our maintenance issues or concerns like that. The first, the number of headstones there just lets us know the total number of headstones.
all right. And then, like, Collins says 47 are leaning, but 2025, we've got Sugar Hill, which has 3 broken and 13 leaning. So why is that more important than
Smaller.
Collins?
Right.
It abuts Eaton on the second page. If you look at Eaton,
Eaton is,
Which has a
it's
lot.
line item 39 on the second page
Okay.
there. It has 105
Five.
leaning headstones, 14 broken headstones, and 5 headstones on the ground, needs the gate painted. It had a total of 251 headstones, but those are side by side.
Eaton and Oil
they
Mill.
abut each
Eaton and
other.
Sugar
Sugar
Hill.
Hill.
Sugar Hill.
We just thought because they abutted each other, and they were gonna be in the, working hopefully,
Yeah.
that might be the wise.
Did I miss this conversation last time we met? Because honestly, I don't recall this.
You don't?
No, the abutting part.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
abut each
Yeah,
other.
they're side by
Okay,
side.
I apologize.
Sugar Hill was
Nope, that's okay.
standalone. We probably would have deprioritized it.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm suggesting we put Collins in 2026, but we can talk about that. So, all right, so for 2025, we said Eaton and Sugar Hill, which are next to each other, and then Oil Mill.
That's correct.
Right, that's what we discussed.
And that's, Eaton had 124 that need work, Sugar Hill had 19, and then Oil Mill had 82. And we estimated that 80 headstone repairs would cost approximately $15,000, just based on what happened at Center Square. It was $30,000 for 162,
Six.
166.
Yeah, he
66.
found, we had 163, but I think he found 3 more, 2 little ones that were buried for children, and then another one somewhere else.
Okay, so I rounded down and said 80 would cost 15 grand, just be on the safe side. Instead of saying 84 or something like
Yeah.
that. I just went worst case.
Yeah.
So based on that, those 3 cemeteries would be a total of 42,000 188. And then I threw 1,000 in, and again, we can talk about this, it's complete swag for fence repair around Sugar Hill or Eaton, I forget which, it's both. The fence encompasses,
Sugar Hill. Well, it's a stone fence around Eaton, and it just has a wooden gate. It's Sugar Hill's that's the one that has the wooden fence on two
Fence.
sides.
the white,
Yeah,
one,
white,
yeah.
yeah.
One of them
Pine.
looks like it got hit by a car or something like that.
Yeah.
Those are the
Or
pictures.
snowplow or whatever,
Yeah.
snow or whatever like that, so, yeah.
So I don't know if 1,000 is an adequate number to throw into the basket for 2025 for the fence. But,
Well, we talked about maybe replacing that fence with AZAC, or, I don't know if we're gonna do that, or go back in 3 or 4 years and try to fix all or any fences that need repair.
right, I mean, we could just push it off and do a temporary. That fence needs to be stripped and painted again. It's just gonna rot out in the future, so.
Yeah, we might be able to get some high school kids to go over there and scrape and paint for community service. It will hold it for maybe 3 or 4 years, and then
Yeah,
change all the fencing as we go through them, change it to the AZAC, so we don't have to keep messing around with it. I don't know.
yeah, and that'll get expensive, the AZAC.
Right, that's why I thought maybe leave it, get the headstone stuff done first.
Yeah, we could definitely consider that. Are we able to, Janice, do we think we know we could use volunteer community service type for like fence work for that, like?
Yeah, we would just have to probably supply the materials, obviously,
Right.
but,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
There used to be, a few years back, we had a form that we could fill out.
Mhm. There is one on the website.
There was.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I guess we gotta decide, do we wanna put anything in there for fence repair for next year, as part of this bundle, or not?
Well, what if we put, there's no fence down in our oil mill cemetery, that's all stone.
Open,
Stone wall.
yeah.
Maybe if we put 500 down, that would surely buy paint and a couple scrapers or a wire brush to clean that fence, if you got some high school kids.
Yeah, we'd have to buy a new 2x8, that's like a 12-footer, and then paint it. So 500 would probably cover that.
You know, I mean, I guess you could put 1,000, but whatever you didn't use is gonna go back into Cypre anyway.
Right, that's what's happening with the 5,000, right, that didn't get used, that was the final, that it's just gonna go back in.
No, that was part of the Mildred Hall.
Mildred Hall.
That was Mildred Hall, I'm sorry.
That's separate.
Right, so with Cypre, it would definitely have to go back in. Okay. And the only other thing is, I think, for oil mill, do we trust these numbers that we have, or do we need to go out and take another pass just to make sure that we're given a good dollar estimate? I think this one you said you trusted from what I heard earlier, but,
Well, the problem is, unless you go and probe through that cemetery, if you got a row, and then you're missing a gap, a couple stones or something, they may be down under the dirt.
oh, yeah, I
We
mean,
can't,
we can't tell what we can't tell, but
right,
if we, based on just visual,
yeah,
20 broken, 62 leaning, none on the ground, that aren't already counted in the broken,
right.
right? Right. So if we throw 500 in there, and I feel like I should probably plug in and go up on the board, because I can see this and you guys can't, but, I mean, I can if you want me to do that. The 3 cemeteries and then 500 for fence repair at Sugar Hill came to 42,688. So I don't know if that's higher than we wanted to try to consider. We do know the balance of the Cypre was accurate from what you had said, Sherry,
Yeah.
about 160.
Ish, yeah. I mean, I don't have it with me, but it's the MS.
I got the fund balance sheet from Beth
Yeah, okay, yeah.
for something else, but it's.
I don't have it with me
Yep, I got it on my phone. It's, 159.5. That's interest as of June 24th.
Yeah.
So, 160, yeah. 159,541.
Yeah, there should be another one out too by now, there's quarterly.
Mhm.
I think the one I saw was the last one, which was just over 160. You know, a little bit, I can't remember if it was 161 maybe, but,
This is as of November 12th from Beth,
oh, all right, well, if it's
but
November.
Cypre may not have reported to her, so you might have seen some.
Probably right, it's
Yeah.
probably right.
But we can say 160 fairly enough.
And then 2026, based on the 40 and 31 and the unknown for Osborne, what are you plugging in there?
So Friends South is 46 stones, 8,600. Friends North was 31 stones.
I have 43,
You had 43 for Friends South?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just using, so Friends South is, it says 50 rocks on here, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I got
tons of rocks up there.
3, 40, and 3 from the original sheet. I got 3 broken that we had on the master.
41, yeah.
I got it open here. Friends South, we had 3, but I marked it in yellow.
Mhm.
3, 40, and 3. There's the, but still, I mean, we're in the ballpark. If we're talking 43 versus 46, that's gonna be $500 difference.
Yeah, I mean, we're close, and I mean, there's so many of them tipped all over the place up there in that cemetery that I could have missed a couple.
Mhm.
There's no, I mean, they're not in a straight line, all of them, they're everywhere, so it's hard when you're up there trying to count.
Friends New North, I got 328.0, which is 31 stones.
Do you
And-
have Friends New South here?
No,
Why isn't that on here?
Well, because this is based, you have to go down the left-hand column, and the history of 1888 had it listed as cemetery number 25, so it's.
Oh, okay, I
it's-
see
It's
it.
line item 25, it's Friends New South
Yeah,
Cemetery.
Yeah, I see it now, sorry.
so, Friends New South,
So that gives us a cum of 77 for 2026, 46 and 31.
no, and then there's Osborne.
Right, which doesn't have any information in it.
Yeah,
That
So-
had one big headstone down, and one leaning, a big one,
I think there were like 3 or 4 leaning.
yeah.
There's quite a few there, really.
I put 7 as an
Seven.
estimate.
Yeah, and then the other issue that's not here, we should contemplate trying to get that big limb on that oak tree that
Well,
hangs over.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got that as an item here for discussion.
Okay,
But Osborne, I think we need to take a look in the next few days. I can take a swing up, or if anybody else can. We don't have any numbers in the master sheet for Osborne, so I just swagged it
yeah,
as like 12.
mm-hmm,
I just came up with 12.
yeah, it's
Just-
probably close.
It's
Yeah.
2,250. So, just the headstones alone is like 16,600 and change, right? And then to your point, tree work, do we wanna throw in an estimate for tree work for 2026 for Osborne, you know? I think it's important, seems like you do.
Yeah,
Well, it needs to come down, because if it doesn't,
It's gonna end up breaking.
headstones like that,
It's
it's gonna
wasting
break
money
headstones,
if-
yeah.
'cause it's gonna
We're
break
just- we're
headstones.
wasting- Yeah, we are wasting money like that.
So, I just threw 5,000 in there, I have no idea.
yeah.
I mean, I
There's a
really
couple
don't.
of- There's a couple of guys in town that do that kind of work. They just climb up and cut a limb, tie
Right.
it off, and
And-
get it out of the way,
Drop it down slowly.
yeah.
There's two
I'm not
limbs
sure if
there.
I could get one of them. I might be able to get them to volunteer to do it. But we'll see.
I'd be inclined to wanna put a number in there, just because you don't know if you're gonna get a volunteer, and, I
Oh,
mean,
I'd put a number in for sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this would be 2026. if they say, yeah, this plan works, then that's a whole nother set of, it's another Cypre warrant article, another year and a half from now. It could be reduced if we get volunteers to cut, but this would be like the worst case.
But whoever we get has to have insurance.
Yeah,
We don't wanna have a problem.
I think the question is, what do we wanna put, if, you know, for a placeholder?
You're just talking about removing limbs, not taking an entire tree down.
No,
Right, just it's a big heavy limb and it
Yeah.
goes right out.
hangs right over.
I don't think I would put 5,000.
No, that seems
I
Oh,
mean,
2,500
Yeah, that
maybe.
seems a lot for-
I don't even know if it'd be that.
I would even probably, I'd say 500, but
Oh, no,
It's more
they're
than
pretty
that.
expensive.
No, I'm guessing 15.
500 just to get out there.
I think if you just put 2,500, if it's not that, then it goes back to Cypre.
Yeah,
Right.
it's expensive.
I had work done last year from a guy local, and I thought it was really reasonable. I mean, he took down a hemlock, trimmed a couple maples for me, because we have a power pole going up to the house like that. I don't know why they didn't bury the, power underground, but, and they come in and cleared them like that, and I was happy with the price they gave me, and it wasn't that much.
That was a good price.
Yeah,
And it's local, I mean, they're right in where.
yeah.
This one, they gotta get a truck up. They probably need I don't know if they need a boom.
They'll
for
never
this.
get a truck in there, that's the
No,
thing,
they
not
won't.
in Osborne.
So it has to be done by
They're gonna have a
hand.
tree climber, he's gonna have to go up, they're gonna have to tie it
Tie it
off, and
off.
then they'll cut it off and lower it to the ground.
Right.
They'll,
That seems like it's more expensive than cutting
Well,
down a
that-
tree and then cutting it up.
We had several of them 2 years ago cut, they're big oaks. They had to limit because they were so nervous that it was gonna end up on the house, the 3 of them, so, yeah, it was expensive.
I mean, should we put like 2,000 in there, just as a
I
high water
would.
mark?
well, we can put 2,000 because we're looking at 26, so that means in
26
fiscal year
go up.
25, because we're gonna have to revisit this to make sure we have accurate numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing, because it's a living
Oh,
document.
Every year,
Every year, we're gonna have to come in back and look at it.
and then,
And then next year, we can look at it. and
Get a real
get
estimate.
Get a better, a better estimate of
Right.
what it's gonna cost.
I mean, I can identify in here what is a wild guess right now, worst case wild guess, and we can refine it.
Yeah.
So that, those 3 cemeteries plus the Osborne tree work, if we do 2,000, would be about 18,688. If we wanna go up a little higher, I would suggest we put Collins in there. Because Collins had a whole bunch of leaning, it's very visible cemetery.
Well, what about Friends New South? It has 56 leaning. It has more than Collins.
Oh, yep.
And
Yeah, Friends Now South had seven broken and 56 leaning.
Plus, the other issue up there is that there's several lots that have sunken down a foot or more.
Yeah, if you look at, over on the right-hand side, the right column, the vegetation issue, it's got sunken plots too.
Yeah,
So Friends New South is in a different location than Friends South, right? Is that the one that's
That's
more
correct.
down
yeah,
the road?
it's just up the hill, going back on Thorndike. It's probably, I'm guessing, 600-700 feet apart.
So if I put 756 and 0 for that one. And then I add it in, that's 63. And that comes to 11,800. So if we add that cemetery in, it brings up the total to 30,500
for 26.
For 26.
for 26.
26. 30,000.
And then what about Collins? It's got a large number.
And we can throw that in for effect to see what happens.
So Friends New South, 2026, you're saying?
Well, it's in there for consideration, yeah.
And then next one after that would be Muzzy.
So Collins, let me just put Collins in there. It's gonna be about 10 grand roughly for 47 and 1.
For Collins Cemetery.
Yeah, do I have the right numbers?
You got 4,
47.
47, and 1.
Yep. That's a total of 52. That adds 9,700, so that brings the total for 26, if we include Collins and Friends South, up to 40,250, which is less than what we're suggesting for 2025.
40,250?
That includes 2,000 for the tree work. And I can email this out to everybody immediately, too.
Yeah, the only thing we haven't added in is we may have to, won't be a big expense, but, I mean, you gotta hire somebody to do it, to bring in some fill, and fill those sunken graves in.
In where, Collins?
The New South one for sure.
No, yeah, in the Friends New South Cemetery.
And we have to decide if we want to include that in the plan for 2026. That's the kind of thing that, like, Cornerstone could come out and do an estimate on that kind of stuff, right? They do that work. I mean,
I would imagine he probably would fill stuff in, yeah.
you wouldn't want to just have anybody come in and do a fill-in on
No,
a
because once you
cemetery.
fill it in, you
No.
probably wanna throw a little bit of grass seed down too.
Yeah. I don't know if I feel comfortable putting that on a plan just yet, because we don't even know, like, I can't even imagine what that would cost, like how many there are. We don't have a count, right?
No, I'd say there was a half a dozen of them at least that had to get filled in. I mean, some of them was sunk down like this, so,
That much?
some of them, yeah. And that cemetery it's gonna be kind of a hard thing to do, because you're gonna have to lug it all in with a wheelbarrow, try to get it in.
Can't get a truck up there?
No, no,
close.
it's all retaining wall, and then it's got just a gate.
Oh, that's right, that one,
Mm.
because that's on Thorndike, right?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
at the beginning of Thorndike,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one to get into.
Yeah, and I think toward the bottom of it, don't quote me, but I think there's a couple steps there too, granite steps coming out by the gate, so.
There is.
Somebody's gonna have to just take a half a wheelbarrow full at a time or something to put, because you're going right uphill.
I mean, we're kind of prioritizing on headstones and really high-risk tree. Do we want to maybe put that in a future year? Because we're already spending 40,000, we're recommending spending 40,000 and change each of the 2 years. And that could really boost things up. Plus, we probably want to get a good estimate or a ballpark of what we're talking about for that kind of work. I mean, we could always push it into 2027. I mean,
I'm fine with that.
I'd like to do it all right away, but
Yeah, we'd look, yeah, I know.
we
Yeah,
can't recommend they spend 160 all together.
No.
All right,
We're at 40,
40,250,
and that's if we leave we don't do any fill.
right. And it's with $2,000 thrown in for tree work at
Tree work.
Osborne.
Okay.
And it's using a estimate of 12 for Osborne. I mean,
Yeah, because there weren't that many there, but most of them either had a lien or were on the
Yeah.
ground, so.
and that might be the high end of it. That's still, we're still in the $40,000 range.
And that's 5 of them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And we can push that fill off for a year and then work it in with some of the other small ones. I mean,
because there might be other cemeteries that need some
Well,
fill too.
yeah, I'm sure there is.
If we were gonna
I
put
know
that
there's-
in,
yeah.
you might wanna come up with a cluster or, multiples. How many do you think at Friends New South there were like that?
I'm guessing 6
Yeah.
to 8 in there. I'm just guessing now, because I don't think did I give you that number, Mike?
I don't remember.
I-
I'd have to look at the email.
Yeah. it wasn't like 25 or anything. I'd say that 6 or 8 of them at
Less
most,
than a dozen?
yeah.
Well, I mean, Sherry noted too, I mean, if you go back up to line 8, Friends New North Cemetery like that, go over to vegetation issues like that, so she had in there fill-in plots too, but there's not, I don't remember a number, specific number, it was just a generalization that there's, many that probably need. And I guess for me, that's not critical, as far as headstones and tree limbs and fencing like that, so it's something that needs to be done, but.
Right.
Put it off.
And like I said, and this being a living document, we're looking at 2026, 2027 like that. We have time to be able to get, more accurate estimate like that.
Accurate, yeah,
And be able to
counts.
to fill it in and add to it and say, for next year, this is what we want, or what we think we need.
So should we take a shot at 27 then?
Is everybody, you're just following,
No, I'm not understanding. So I look at this and got the number broken, number of leaning, number on the ground, add all those up, you come up with a number of headstones that need work. And if you look at it, you've got Eaton's number 1 at 124. You've got that on the 2025 list. That makes sense to me. Oil mill makes sense, 82 on 2025. And then I understand why Sugar Hill would be there because it abuts Eaton. Got that.
yep, okay.
But then if I go down, the next one would be Collins at 52. We're not even talking about it.
Yeah, we just.
Oh, we just put it into
we just put it
2026.
27, yeah, but not for 25 or 26, yeah. It would be next in going off a data-driven approach.
We put Collins into 2026 just now. This might help this might help.
Then after that, I've got Friends South, which we put in 2026.
Yeah.
Friends New North. Friends New South is 63.
Yep. And then Collins.
Okay.
This way you don't have to write it all down too. You can just, if this looks good, then I'll send it out kind of thing. Just make it a little bigger. Is that okay?
Yep.
Can you go up and see what the top columns are, top line is, rather?
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
We can move any of these from one year to the next as we see fit. That's easy enough to do. Can you see with the podium in the way?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
The ones that are yellow was where I was questioning if we had an accurate number or not. And I think for oil mill, we wanna, we feel good about oil mill
Yeah.
based on observation, right?
Yeah,
When I saw a 0, I made it yellow just to be are we absolutely sure? And if we are, then I'll take it off.
Okay.
Does this make sense now? Are we?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know that we're going specifically by volume. We could, because like Osborne is small. That could be pushed to a later year.
yeah, but you got some
It's-
headstones that are really leaning, and
That
if
one-
those big headstones come off, fall
That
off.
could get worse.
You'll break them, you could break them, and then you got lots of
And then you
money
get the tree.
involved. Yeah,
Actually, there's 2 branches, two limbs hanging over that one.
yeah,
So that one, I think, that's like, if we get to it now, we can prevent further damage, so why not
That's correct.
make it a little bit sooner? So I put Muzzy in 2027, just because it was standing out. Some of these didn't have numbers in the master, Mike, so I gotta make sure that they get into the master. I think Muzzy was empty in the master.
As far as like headstones, broken headstones?
Yeah,
Huh,
yeah.
okay.
So that's why I was not in my original, like I swagged a couple of years' worth and I didn't put it in, so I just put it in now. So that's good. And Janice, I took the number of headstones and the cost,
Mhm.
I divided it by 80 and times
Right.
15,000.
Yep.
That's how I came up with that number.
Okay. Okay.
This one I have to fix. So, we got room to expand 2027 if we want, just based on the history of the numbers we've been putting into other years. We should probably verify that I have the right, that I'm not messing up the number entry here. Like Elijah Gove had 22,
You should have had 2, 22, and 2. 2 broken, 22 leaning, and
Yep.
2 headstones on the ground.
Muzzy was 0, 36, and 0.
Yep.
And then, is there any other bigger ones that I missed? I put Elijah Gove is in there. Muzzy was the next one.
Right here.
Dow Peasley
This is 2027.
probably should get in there.
I was
Now
gonna say,
Peasley at only 16.
Yeah,
it's a total of 16.
but I think all the numbers larger than that, we've already got in the plan. Because Muzzy's in there, Elijah Gove is in there. So Dow Peasley
Dow
would be
Peasley,
one of the next highest.
yeah,
That's the one on center, I mean, on Concord Stage, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right at the top of the
Yes.
On the
hill,
turf.
yeah.
There's 15 that are leaning, huh?
Yeah.
Do we want to throw that into 2027?
Yeah, I would think
Since
so.
we're-
You don't have that many.
Yeah, we could add that to that.
And then probably Worthily while we're at it, right? With 11, that's the next one.
Yeah, that had some tree work to be done there too.
Yep,
Which one is that?
Worthy.
24,
Oh, Worthley, yeah.
Yeah.
they just
Yeah, it's
cleaned
got
it up,
that-
but they didn't touch the trees. They just cleaned the,
That's correct, yeah, they did the leaf blowing, clean out the duff like that, but they left that snag in the corner.
yeah.
What does snag mean?
Well, it's
It's dead and it's caught up
hung
in another tree.
another
It's,
tree.
is that the cedar?
yeah, it was that,
Yeah.
that was that cedar that was up there.
Actually, was any of that putting the cemetery in danger? The cedar was leading away.
It was dead and it was hung up in another
Hung up
tree
in
that's
another- I mean,
outside
it could be a
the,
problem if
outside
it
the
came
stone
down.
wall.
Yeah, I mean, do we want Worthily tree work to wait another 3 years? Or do we kind of push it up into, another year? That's just what's running through my head, based on our tree conversation. This is Dow.
I mean, I remember seeing it, and I know there's some headstones down, but I guess I'd have to walk back in there and double check.
It was
see if
that-
it Looks like it's gonna,
Cedar was hanging out along the wall,
Right.
and then there was another tree that was down on the ground that was, somebody could just pick that up and move it. We didn't need to,
No, so they cleaned that out,
they did to clean that one out?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's all cleaned up.
And there's that one
There's-
cedar
There's
tree.
that one, but it's, like I said, it's hung up in the other one like that.
That's a chainsaw.
And is that leaning out?
Pardon?
Is it leaning out?
It's leaning out of the cemetery.
So it's not leaning over a
No,
headstone?
no, it's the opposite direction.
A windstorm could blow it back in, but, it looks like it's been there a while.
It's dead, and I was gonna say it's been there for a while like that. It's got quite a lean outside of the, outside the cemetery.
Yeah, it's like 25 degrees, at least. This is 115, 0, and then Worthley,
111-1. Oops.
if we just drag this down. And that's, okay, so now we're up to 21.7. And should I put Worthley tree work with the Worthley headstones?
I would. Well,
That's-
I mean, I guess my thought is if we have tree work, do we want to reach out one time and identify all the tree work with a contractor, or do we want to piecemeal it and say, oh, we got one tree here, you know, and then next time we got another tree over
Do
here?
it with Osborne, like whoever we have do that, have them go fix that
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah, I would think so.
They're not that
That's how
far
I would
off.
do it, but-
So I'll add in 2026, and that brings it closer to, we can say Worthley tree work. And that's not gonna be 2,000, that's
I know,
like 500.
at best, I would think.
We're taking that cedar out, cutting it up. Again, I can mark it as a swag. We can get a more official estimate
Right,
next year, you know, next summer, and refine the plan.
right.
That's still under 41,000, so,
What do we got on that, 21 something?
yeah.
21,750.
Are there any cemeteries that we didn't, that aren't just onesie twosies that we haven't included yet?
Benjamin Perkins had 9,
And Hadley,
and Hadley Blood had 10,
yep.
Whitaker had 12,
Mm.
Poor Farm 13.
Poor Farm,
Poor Farm needs a lot of work, though, that's got a tremendous amount of trees
I already
in there.
included it in 2027.
Poor Farm?
Yep,
Yep.
right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yeah.
So throw a couple of these small ones in there. Now, if we're talking like 6 cemeteries, even though there's just a handful, are we putting too much into the season for a company to get to all of these places?
I imagine he would come and spend, if he needs 3 weeks or 4 weeks to do it, that's what he'd do,
Just move around. I mean, he did 161 in one place,
166.
6. But if we had less than that in 4 places,
I don't think
it's
it
not a
would matter.
major,
I don't think it matters because he worked out of his trailer, so he would pull up, you know, it's not like he has setup that and has to break down
Right.
every day like that.
The only thing we might have to do is get the town to knock that pile of gravel down, or to fix it a little bit so he can get into
Oh, in
Poor
Whitaker?
Farm.
Oh, a Poor Farm? Okay, well, Whitaker is, do we have Whitaker on there too?
Whitaker,
is Whitaker the next biggest one?
I'm trying to think.
Well, we haven't talked about Whitaker yet. It's
That's
got
12.
12 leaning like that.
12, yeah.
Well, that's one where the gate, you can't open it all the way.
No, that's Philbrook,
Is it Philbrook?
that's Philbrook, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Should we put
trying
Whitaker?
to think
Whitaker's
where-
the other one, yeah, I'm gonna get him,
Yeah, Whitaker's farther up on
it's in the middle of Maple.
Maple Wall,
Yeah,
yeah.
Philbrook's at the end.
Philbrook, that's really gonna be an issue, because what they've done is they've built the road up 6 feet. So you cannot get in, open the gate up to get in, because the gravel is within this far of the gate. And it's all wrought iron all the way around it, and they've built this big mound of gravel up. Instead of putting a culvert in there, directing the water, they just kept building it up,
And that's on Maplewold
yeah.
in front of,
That's on the corner of Hadley, Mount Dearborn
Mount
and
Dearborn,
Maple,
Maple.
and Maple Wall.
Which cemetery?
So
Philbrook, thank you.
I sent you some pictures of that, I think,
Yeah.
Mike, that showed that the gravel was as tall as I was, and I had to squeeze in. I could get the gate open
Oh, for the
about
gate.
a foot maybe, and I don't even know if it was a foot. It might have been, 10 inches, but, yeah, it's a mess.
So I put Whitaker in there just for, see what it looks like.
Yeah.
What's another one? There was another one we just mentioned. Was it Perkins?
Poor Farm.
Poor
Yeah,
farm.
I already got that in here
Yeah.
in 2027.
Um,
There was another one. Oh,
Hadley.
Hadley, there's not too much in there, but
Hadley and Perkins. There's 9, there's 10. Perkins has 9.
Hadley had 10. Perkins had 9, correct.
I mean, those are small. They're not gonna,
not gonna take very long.
They're not gonna-
Those stones aren't very big either in Hadley. They're small, most of them. But Elijah Grove, that's got a great big headstone that's down and another one that's leaning. Plus there's 6 inches at least of heavy, real heavy moss there. I don't know if there's anything else down.
So Hadley was 091.
Mhm.
And Ben Perkins is 180.
still under 30 with all those, with all that work. 18 to 27. Yep, that's total. So that's still less than what was done in Center Square. All that improvement.
Okay. Looks pretty good to me. The question is, if the cemetery trustees wanna say 40's too much on the first year, where would we draw the line to get something less?
For 2025.
Well, you could take off,
So would it be,
you could take Collins off and put it in 2027, and that would drop it back to in the lower 30s.
Right, it would take this down to 30 and it'd bring this one up to
35.
right, I'm specifically talking about next year.
next year.
It's talking 25, not 26.
Yeah, 'cause that's what has to go on the warrant, that's the most imminent
Right.
thing.
I mean, you take oil mill off, I guess. You're gonna do Eaton, you do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Sugar Hill's right next door to it.
Right, I mean, that's what I would do.
I wouldn't take one of those two
No.
off.
It's just move Eaton to,
Oil mill.
or oil mill to 26.
To 26, and then take one of the,
One or more off of 26 and push it to
Okay,
27.
can you make a note there by oil mill? Something to the effect of, reduction would be this one. Could move, not remove.
could move to 26.
I got like 4 different keyboards that I use every day and they all are different.
As I say, your fingers are faster than your,
Yeah. And so if you move 15 there, you'd have to take about 20 probably out of 26.
Oh, everything would shift.
Yeah.
we would just shift everything from there.
That would be, this would be the new number.
27,313.
Yeah,
Okay.
You,
if they wanna know.
So then in 26 and 27, are those in priority order? In terms of, are they, really everything just shifts, or is it
No.
in between?
Well, the bigger numbers have more headstones that need repair.
Well, it's two things. If they say, 42 is too rich, we drop it down to 27.
Right, and then,
That 15 has to slide down.
right, so that's what I'm saying, is it just you take the bottom 15 off of 26? Or is it in there,
And then there's
not
the, you
sequentially?
take bottom 15, you move that 15, and you're still at 40,750. Is that too much?
Right,
And then you keep doing that.
right.
Yeah.
But my question is, in 26, if you have to move something out of 26, is it the bottom ones?
Right.
Lines
Would-
13,
I
14,
understand.
15?
Which could
Or
move.
is it 9, 12, and 15?
Right.
Yeah, I understand what she's saying there. Do we want to prioritize each fiscal year?
Yeah.
And we could do that. We're here, we might as well do it, so.
Yep,
That way, if the question comes up, we can say, yeah, you remove the bottom one, bottom two, bottom three, whatever like that.
right,
We're
and
not-
maybe this is just a separate column altogether that says line 3 is priority number 1. Line 4 is priority number 2. Line 5, 6, priority number 3.
Yeah, we could just give them priority numbers
Right,
and just everything.
yep.
We want to put this in here for priority, like,
I would put it as a 2A or 2B.
Yeah, 2B, but I would just put it as 2B.
Yeah,
not 2B.
3. Okay, so what do we want to make 4 here? Is
Five.
there,
that's gonna be priority, what, 4?
what's the most important one on this list?
60, Friends New South is 63 headstones.
The biggest one?
Mm. And then Friends South headstone, Friends South is 46.
I mean, are we just doing it by volume?
I don't know, the ones you identified first, prior to coming in here, or at our last meeting, was Friends South, Friends New North, and Osborne.
Mm-hmm.
So those should probably be in the higher bracket.
Yeah, I think Osborne's up there, just, it's smaller, but it's one of those things, it's like Buxton, Philbrook, cleanup in there is priority, it's before it gets worse. Some of them are already worse than that, but you would want to attack some of these now, before the costs go up even further.
Yeah, the cost is always gonna,
It's kind of in my mind, but, so we can do 4, 5, based on Janice's comments, that. I forget which of the Friends ones are co-located. Do you remember which, Friends South and New
Friends
South?
Friends New South are,
It's on Thorndike.
yeah,
So which
And
two,
Friends South
Friends South and Friends New South are in.
are the closest.
They're together.
Like
They're close
Clinton
together.
Grove, yeah.
so I would almost prioritize them together, just like we did with Eaton, right? So maybe make this 5, and then New North's in a different spot, right?
I guess I'm confused. Why are you numbering them 4, 5, 6? Wouldn't fiscal year 26 we start
No,
over?
that's just one list, and that way, if they have to cut it,
Oh, okay.
It would-
all
they
right,
say,
right.
this is
This is our
it,
number.
and everything else slides down in this order.
Okay.
If they say 30,000 a year max,
Okay.
Right.
then we just have to
Okay. All right.
shift all the priorities down to another year to
Okay.
flatten out the
Yeah.
cost, to push the cost out. So, and Friends South well, Friends New South and South are together, and they're the lion's share of almost the lion's share,
Right.
46 and 63. But if they're co-located,
They're fairly close. They're not,
Yeah.
they're not like Eaton and Cedar
No,
Hill,
but they're
They're
within
close,
700 feet of each other.
yeah.
yeah, eyesight.
Yeah,
And then New North, is that,
that's up on Quaker Street.
oh, that's a whole nother
It's on
location.
Quaker Street.
That's Quaker.
farther down.
And that's by itself, right?
Yeah,
Because Friends Regular North,
Well, no,
Old North.
those two are together, I thought.
Old and
Friends
Yeah.
New North
North and North, yeah.
and North are together, and Friends North Cemetery.
we don't have Friends North on here at all.
Well,
Is
it's line, well, it's,
It's gonna
you
need
got
a-
line 8.
It has nothing in it
There's
on this.
nothing in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that mean there's
Just
no,
there's nothing probably damaged, those are all fairly recent burials, like since 70s or 80s, I think, most of them.
Well, I think that was
There's only a
established like
handful.
1955. It's a new cemetery, it's a newer cemetery,
yeah,
so.
so should be okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll put New North after that, just because of volume, but then Collins is 52 stones.
You got 2 6s up there,
Oh, yeah, this would go to 7,
7.
unless we want to make Collins 7 just because of the volume.
Well,
I would do Osborne and then Collins.
yeah,
And why do you say that?
because of the rounds.
Having been at both cemeteries to look at them like that, the headstones in Osborne have more lean and are more inclined to be broken or damaged sooner than what's in
Okay.
Collins.
And they're big, so if
Okay.
they fall and break,
They're really
they're not
big.
just a
They're the
little-
really tall,
They're big.
old,
Okay.
Yeah.
some of them are close to 4 feet tall, and once they tip over like that, they're gonna break.
And that would be a lot more to repair. than
Exactly.
just
It's a lot
a-
more expensive
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, that's what I mean, as far as cost goes, it'd be a lot more to repair it.
Is Collins older than Osborne, or would you say it's newer? I don't see the, I got the sheet here.
Well, I'm thinking Osborne's probably an older one.
Osborne's probably a little
That's-
bit older.
Yeah, that's a,
Osborne
Wanted to
is
say 1850.
1850,
Wow.
Collins is 1834.
Yeah.
So there's more in Collins, and it's older.
Yep.
So, but we're giving it lower priority than Osborne. And this, but,
Because of the size of the Osborne stones.
yeah, because of the stones and the tree and
really tall.
they're thick, so if they fall, they're gonna go down hard and could break.
I just, or Collins, a lot of little stones, right? That's what I remember seeing.
Mhm.
They're
Medium.
smaller, yeah, most of them, not
Yeah,
all
A lot of
of
them
them.
are only maybe, 2.5, like 30, 32 inches tall, they're not very tall.
And Osborne has the tree, the branches hanging over it. That'll just
Yeah,
make it so much worse. I'd hate to see that. I mean, do we move Osborne up in priority because of that? In this group?
I think the case has been made that you might want to consider it, yeah.
yeah. Well, there's not much in Friends New North.
31,
28 leaners and
28
3 row.
liters. Yeah. And Osborne, these are guesses. These are just, anybody has a better guess, tell me. But I figured it was a dozen stones tops that need work.
Well,
Yeah.
we need to check it anyways, because that was one of the ones that they were supposed to, contractor, vendor was supposed to clean,
Yeah.
or take care of, do the maintenance.
And we got time. But, yeah.
And the other one is Poor Farm, it's supposed to be cleaned too, right?
Mhm.
That's not being cleaned. Hasn't been cleaned for a few years, 'cause I've been up there every year checking on it.
No, we can play with these priorities too. I mean, it's not, we're not gonna need an answer next week.
No, but I just want to capture what we're thinking
Oh,
about
yeah.
today, and that way
I agree.
kind of have some long-term plan.
Yep.
Always subject to change as we get new information, better information, different information, but
Yep.
You don't have anything on oil mill, do you?
It's right here.
Oh. Okay, I see it
82.
now, yeah.
We didn't include the Poor Farm. We asked for Buxton Philbrick, Eliza Dow, Toby Hilliard, Tristram Johnson, and the Worthley Burying Ground. For the 5 that we asked them to focus on.
All right.
So we didn't ask for Poor Farm.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of brush up there.
Well, they're supposed to do it by contract.
By contract,
We
they're
asked
supposed
for
to be
those to be
doing these.
prioritized.
We didn't want to-
The fall cleanup should all be done
November 15th.
now, right? They should already be done.
It should be
So
done.
It's not that Poor Farm, we didn't tell them to do it, it was in the contract. It
Exactly.
should be done,
Right.
but we don't
They
know.
haven't done
Correct.
it.
We'd have to go look.
There's
Correct.
trees like this, so they haven't done it for a while.
Okay. Keep going.
Prioritize 27.
Yep.
I haven't been to all of these myself yet, but Muzzie's the biggest.
Be number 10.
And then we got,
I'd go up.
oops, I don't know which one's
Elijah Grove.
the worst. I haven't been out to that one. I guess whatever's the worst.
That's one that's got one of the great big headstones down, and another one that's not looking too good.
Just going by volume.
I was gonna say, do Elijah Grove.
And then Dow Peasley.
Yeah. Bell Peasley.
And then probably Whitaker, Poor Farm, and then Worthy.
With a lock. Hadley,
I don't remember,
Benjamin Perkins. That's got granite posts that's gotta get put back up too.
Which one's that?
Benjamin Perkins, I believe it is. So, it's right there on Mount Dearborn by the Maple Sugar House.
Yeah, there's a corner post that's broke. You're right, yeah,
Yeah.
there is. Yeah, it's got a corner post that's broke. I remember seeing that.
No.
Because that's the one that has the chain that goes around it.
Yeah, yeah. That was a test.
Okay.
I have been there.
Yeah.
so, are there any other cemeteries left that have any kind of headstone issues that we've recorded?
Do you want to read them off, and I'll check them off this list to make sure?
Philbrook, Philbrook's not on, we don't have it yet.
Philbrook had
Philbrook's
5.
the one that's got all that gravel.
That's the one that's on the. it's on
Gravel of the
corner
road.
Mount Dearborn
And
and Maple
Maple
Grove.
The
Wall.
gate? Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got the gate you can't open. It's
You
got
can't
plenty
op-
of moss in the,
And you can't even get into it unless you walk up the hill or back down the hill and come through the woods. You can't get over that gravel, it's all loose.
so there's gonna be hardscape work and stone work, headstones, right?
Yeah.
well, I guess it's hardscape, but it's outside the cemetery. I think we'd have to get Public Works involved.
Public
here.
Works would have to do something
Because
with
what
that.
Sherry said is the road is probably.
It's the road.
5 to 6 feet.
above.
It's over the top of the wrought iron fence that
Wrought
goes
iron
around the
fence,
cemetery.
that's probably 4.5
You
feet.
literally look down into the cemetery, the road's that tall or high.
It never
Yeah.
used to be like that.
So that's not cemetery work then?
No, it's
technically.
not cemetery
don't-
work.
Oh,
And that is, you said Maplewald?
Corner of
It's on
Maple
a
Wall
corner
and
of
Mount
Maplewood,
Dearborn.
Mount Dearborn.
So we don't have to put
Janice
that,
and I need to take a road trip.
It's funny though, you're looking at all these names and then I'll sit here and I'll think, gee, where is that one? Oh, I know where they are, it's just that there's so many of them, yeah.
There is a ton, literally.
all right.
What about
Be
Muzzy?
20.
Where's Muzzy here? Oh, well, it's
Muzzy's
down there,
line item
27.
9,
Yeah.
yeah, we got it for 27. It had 36 leaning. I didn't see any broken or ones on the ground in there, but it needs a signpost.
Yeah.
And plots are sunken, and I counted a total of 56 headstones in there.
And that's, signpost is outside the cemetery, well,
Yeah.
it currently is outside,
Yeah.
right?
That's when you took me to?
Yep.
Up,
Upper Craney.
Yeah, one Upper Craney.
All right, so Toby Hill has 3. Can we put that in here? Toby Hill Yard.
Toby Hill, yeah.
I know, I question how anybody would get to Toby Hill to do work, to be honest with you. It's a
Really?
half-mile uphill, and it's pretty rough. It's the snowmobile trail in the wintertime.
Well, I've walked it a lot of times.
I know,
I don't
but
know
the
about-
haul equipment
Well,
up
with
there.
a four-wheel drive truck, you couldn't get up there?
You
Probably could get up over the hill, and then you got ditches where they've run stuff in there,
The ruts.
big, I mean, I don't know, I haven't been up this summer.
Well, they filled it in a lot with gravel. The winter wanderers have filled in a lot with
Gravel,
gravel like that. There's a fair amount of gravel, 'cause I walked up in there, well, to check on it. It hadn't been done there for the maintenance.
yeah,
So it was last week I went up.
oh,
I mean, you could probably get a four-wheel drive up there.
yeah, I would.
He wouldn't be pulling a trailer if it was,
No.
you'd have to go
No.
up in a truck.
Yeah, so make a note beside that one.
I mean, there's only
yeah,
3 in there. There's 1 broken and 2 leaning. I mean,
May not be accessible.
I think he can get in, I just don't think he's gonna pull a trailer in there.
no, he's not.
Which
can go in
means
with
it
a
might
four-wheel
not be
drive.
accessible for him to do the work.
Or he charges more,
I mean, yes.
Yeah,
the estimate.
I think he can get in there and fix it. All right.
Um, 28, and then Poor Farm Cemetery, is that different than,
No, that's 27 we had. Line item
It's
20
in
is
27.
I missed that. Oh, and Elijah Dow, we put on 27, I didn't mark all these. Tristram Johnson, we put him in
27.
27.
Dal Peasley's 27.
The Lock,
Worthley Burying Grounds 27. Friends New South, we had 26. Osborne 26. Luther Lock is 27.
Joseph Wilson. It's
Line
not on
item-
your list.
Line item 28. It only has,
one leaning.
I could only find 1 headstone up there. There used to be more. But,
Yeah, I think they're falling over and they're under the leaves
you know,
and crap, probably.
well, when I went up there, the brambles were 3 to 4 feet high. You could barely see in there
Yeah,
this past summer, and
yeah, and they cut all the stuff in front. You couldn't even see where the tomb was. It was so covered with junk. Nobody cut it back for years.
So, should we put Joseph Wilson tomb headstones and then landscaping, you know, brush cut
or,
for Joseph Wilson?
well, Joseph Wilson's supposed to be covered by the contractor, the vendor, whoever does the,
All right, so we could arrange for that to be cleared before we bring anybody in to do headstone work, right? And that was just one total.
that I
we-
could see, yeah,
that we
because
know
it was so overgrown that trying to find
That's
anything
the
else
one
in there
on,
was.
that's the one
Norris
down,
Road.
yeah, Norris, yeah.
Yeah,
below
Norris
you.
Road.
Yeah.
That's where we saw the grave rubbings. That was the one we went to, was Joseph Wilson
Oh, yeah, yeah.
on North Road.
Yeah.
Can you write in there that it's a headstone?
There's more than one headstone in there, though. Well, they may be falling over, or they may
I-
have disappeared, because, you know, the same thing with that one down there,
On Rogers Land?
yeah. We saw the headstone, I saw it, and it had been taken from where it was originally and thrown down over a bank, and when we went back 3 months later, the headstone wasn't over the bank and anymore, it was gone. So I don't know who's doing that stuff.
I think, you know, the year before we come up to a year, we probably ought to do an inventory, double check that the brush doesn't need to be cut, and do a real good walk around to see if there's stones that we didn't see before. Hopefully, they're gonna get cleaned up, you know, in the spring, and we go out after the cleanup and we check it out. And, you know, for 27, we do it in 26, 25, and so on.
Yeah.
For next year, you know, it's pretty cut and dry, Eaton, Sugar Hill, and Oil Mill, it's,
Right.
you know, But then as we get into some of these other ones, we should do a pre-yearly inspection
Okay.
and just confirm our estimates before warrant articles get,
Well, knowing what the budget cycle is like that, I think, October looks good. The only reason I mention that is because vegetation starts to die back.
That's
And you
true.
can get a better look at
after the
what's
cleanup.
there after, what should be cleanup and everything else like that. And then we could reevaluate and revisit this,
Each fall.
each fall like that.
Before,
so going into the budget cycle.
Yep, so for next year, next fall, we should be looking at the 2026 list.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah, and maybe go back and just, like you said, look at up those that we put on the 2026 list to make sure everything, there's nothing major change or.
and if we find more work, or there's a tree that fell, or whatever, the estimate goes up, might push some out
A little
to the
bit.
next year before the warrant article is set.
Okay. Anything
Yes.
else on this one?
Janice, do you think that the selectmen are gonna have a problem if we have a $40,000?
I have no idea. I really don't. I mean, I don't think, unless they've been watching these meetings, I don't think they, as a collective group, understand the collective state.
Scope.
The severity of these
Yeah.
cemeteries, yeah.
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 I mean, some of it comes down to how much do you want to preserve in that fund? Are we drawing it down too fast?
Right.
But the argument against that is,
Inflation.
it's been like 10,000 a year for years, and
Yeah.
that's only gone to like moderate cleanup, but not repairs, and this is overdue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much, I mean, you're talking over the course of about roughly 4 years, getting all of the major repairs done and getting back to the status quo of being able just to do routine
Yeah, you may have to go in,
lawn maintenance.
Yeah.
I mean, as
And
opposed to infrastructure and headstones.
yeah, and then maybe every 5 years you do a walk through all the cemeteries to see what you got, if there's anything leaning or
Yeah.
falling over.
Yeah.
I-
So I think the important thing to hit is that, this is not gonna be an every single year for the rest of
we're looking at-
infinity.
We're looking at, trying to look at 5
Right.
years.
Yeah, this is a push, and we really only got 4 years on here, by the
Mhm.
way.
Right, so I think they might, that's why I wanted to get a priority, because I think they might say, well, let's flatten this out a bit.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get them all done. It really would.
So there's room in year 4 to take some overspill
Mm-hmm.
if needed. Do we want to put anything in 2029 to say this is what, if we had access to,
And I would think anything that we haven't touched on that we know has got a problem, it should go there, even if it's one, you know. Like Joseph Wilson tomb, is that up there?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
year 4.
yeah, I think we hit everything that has a number on this sheet.
You do? You think we got
I
it
think
all
we
there?
did.
Well,
That has a greater than
As
0.
of now.
as of now, I mean, if you go to the second page, line item 31, David Buxton, we haven't been able to go in there. So
No.
we don't know the status of
We
what's
don't
in
even
there.
know.
We don't even know.
Yeah.
We know 33, John Gillette like that there's
Gillette.
nothing there, and that was all cleaned up.
Right.
And 34, Tom and I have been there, it's only rocks, there's no headstones, the fencing,
Gotcha.
look good. The trees that were inside
Gotcha.
the plot like that are so
Open legend.
large. I
Oh,
mean, they're-
that's down off Helen Dearborn?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are huge oaks that are in there now, and Benjamin Felch, the headstone's actually built into the tomb.
Tomb, right.
But it's cracked, and you could see where it's separated, it's about an inch from the top and the bottom, and it's kind of starting to sink into the ground. At some point in time, we could put that into 2029. I mean, it's not gonna fall over the way it is
No.
now, it's stuck right where it's at like that. Green Cemetery, when I was out there, well, Tom and I went out, in this last spring, and then I went out in the fall like that.
Green.
It's good, it's
That's the one up on Pine.
Eben Page.
Eben Page. Yeah.
going towards Francistown, out past Fair and
Oh,
Pond.
yeah, yeah.
There's not anything wrong with
There's
that.
nothing there, no.
You know, line item 41, the Reed Cemetery, that's actually private. You know, it's on the list, but it is, my
Yeah.
understanding, it's a private
Yeah, that's
headstone,
private
so.
cemetery, yeah.
And in 46 is Elias Dow,
That's out behind
Colby?
Travis's.
yeah.
Was there a broken one there, or no? That was
I thought
just,
there was. Thought we had one that was,
Leaning, I
it was
thought.
leaning
I feel like
over
it was
like
a
that,
leaner
so,
on that one.
just a leaner.
So that might be something you could put on 29.
or just stick it in 28 if it's one,
Well, well.
it's just
whatever,
one
yeah.
headstone.
And then the other one, ones that we haven't looked at is, we didn't look at East Ware. I'm pretty sure there's a couple small ones broken there unless somebody's repaired them. I saw them clip two off one day. And what about Pine Grove?
Well, we need to go through
We
Pine
need to
Grove.
go
and-
Pine Grove. I think we need to hit the ones there in the center and kind of do a thorough look through those, maybe for 29. Pine Grove, Johnson, and East Ware.
I can just leave it open. We don't really know, we don't have an estimate on the, we don't know what it
No,
is.
we need to look at those, though.
Did you put the Buxton Philbrick that's off
Off-
Old
Francistown.
Francistown Road? Did you put that in there? I don't.
No.
think-
No.
You don't have that?
There were no numbers next to it, so I didn't.
'Cause we haven't been out there to look to see. That's where you and I walked out. Remember, we put the sign up in there?
The
We walked
orchard?
through
That's all the way
orchard.
out the end of the field.
Yeah, it's all the way in the back corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was some trees in there growing.
Oh, there is, there's
There's
a lot of little
pine that need to
pines.
be taken out. I mean, they're only 4 or 5 feet tall, but if you can pull them out, and that'll take the roots and all
Roots.
out like that.
But that's under contract. That should get cleaned up by a
Well, that
contract.
was one of the
If
ones
they
they were
got
supposed to do.
4 or
but we-
5 foot trees, you know, they're not doing it.
No,
Oh,
these
I know
pine
they're
trees could be
doing
pulled out by hand.
By hand like that, so,
Yeah,
These are like saplings
Yeah.
that,
yeah.
they got a shallow root, neither
Yeah.
the pines, so.
and any other trees that are growing are small enough where they could just be pulled out with a little trowel or
Yeah.
by hand.
I know they're under contract, but do you think it's worth,
That was one they were supposed to, we wanted them to focus on this
That's-
fall.
That one really,
We-
we
Somebody
need to
just
walk-
needs to go out and walk it and see whether they did it or not, and then we can do
Yeah.
a stone count and,
if
right, that should be cleaned up
if you're
first.
gonna go out some afternoon to that one,
Yeah.
I'd like to go out with you. I've been out for 30,
Okay,
40
all right.
years.
but that, the person there, I mean, she is really nice. I mean,
Yeah.
I met her, and I've been out a couple times like that, you know, and she's great like that, so I was impressed there that she was
Mm.
that friendly and everything like that, so.
Yeah,
That was Buxton Philbrick, right?
Yeah.
Buxton
Yeah.
Philbrick, that's correct.
yeah. I went out years ago to that when Roscoe was still alive.
This one, we don't really know.
Yeah, it's an unknown right now.
And the other one that's really a mess is that Worthley grave on Barnett
Oh.
Hill. That's just I mean, that, you know, if you had some loppers, most of that's berry bushes, I think, and some, maybe a few small trees, but that would be nice to get that cleaned up so it looked decent. That's on, what's his name's property? Can't think.
I don't remember, you know, but like I
Yeah.
said, I had to drive up their you know, I parked over at Cold Springs, and, yeah, you have to walk up
The
good
driveway
40,
halfway.
50 feet, halfway up, and it's on the right-hand side.
Oh, that's the one behind the telephone pole.
Well, yeah, it's not behind the telephone pole,
anymore.
it's up their driveway, and
Yeah.
I felt bad
can't
walking up
think of
there
their
like that,
name,
so.
but I know it as well as my own, but.
For 20, I mean, you know, for lack of putting it somewhere, do we want to put any headstone cleaning as a priority, as something that?
Well, I was gonna ask,
Well, I thought we wanted
about buying
D2.
that stuff and can we do it ourselves?
Yeah, we can.
Well, do we know how?
Yeah, you just spray it and leave it. You don't.
Oh, we
touch
can do it ourselves, yeah.
Yeah,
And we can get a-
watched him do it. He said, just get some of those hand sprayers and He said a 5-gallon bucket, he said it'll probably do 75 headstones if you have a mix. If you're doing a lot of big ones, it won't go that far, obvious, but,
All the headstones that
and,
are gonna be repaired also get cleaned.
Right.
And
There's a lot of them that just need cleaned.
Ron Connery has been cleaning veterans' stones for a couple of years. He said he would give us a demonstration anytime we wanted.
Okay.
He would
So I
train, he
think
would
we
train
should
us.
probably buy some solutions so that we can
yeah,
do the
in the
work.
early spring, we ought to order,
Yeah,
Or
so that needs
put it
to
in
be
here.
in 25.
along with some hand sprayers, because you're gonna need them, you know. I don't know how many headstones there actually are in Center Square, but it'd be nice to get those all done this early part of the summer, by early summer.
So,
So what kind of sprayer are we talking about? Is it a
Just-
hose sprayer or a pump sprayer?
Just one of those little
One of the
pump sprayers,
garden-
you know,
garden
You don't
pump
need
sprayers.
water with it, it's
No
already,
water,
you mix
nothing,
it.
yeah.
It's,
Okay,
you don't dilute it, you just use it full strength.
okay.
Yeah.
so, that was, 5 gallons was $250,
Around
right?
220.
I thought it was 225 is what I wrote
It was
before.
225, I thought that's what it was, for a 5-gallon pail.
We just gotta come up with a number that we wanna
It could
put.
vary, so you ought to pad it by 10%, because he said it fluctuates a little bit.
Does that have a shelf life, do we know?
I don't know, but
We have enough cemeteries,
we could
I know, we
use
have
it
plenty
all. Yeah, if you say 75 headstones, I'm guessing that Center Square, there must be 1,000 headstones, I'm just guessing. I don't know, maybe there's 500 or 600 in there.
Well, I thought we had the number.
How many 5-gallon buckets do we think we wanna buy at one point?
5-gallon was 220 a pail.
220.
Covers
220.
70 headstones
Yep.
approximately.
Yeah,
Should we say 3 buckets?
probably start with 3. We'll know after we've put a couple of them out what we got, and then if we need to get, we think we need another 1 or 2, we'll have to order them. And those sprayers, I don't know what they cost now, it used to be about 20 bucks a piece, but they're probably more like 30 with inflation.
Is it, this is like an insecticide sprayer thing you're talking about?
You know, it just has a small
Garden
tank
sprayer
with a
that,
little
you know,
handle
you
and
Pump.
Push,
pump
Yeah,
it.
pump
oh, yeah,
like that.
at 20, 25 bucks for a small one.
So you'd probably want to get at least one for all of us. Maybe a couple extras, I don't know.
So those 20 bucks, 5, 5 of them, that's 150 bucks. And then, gloves. Do you need gloves for D2? It's not really.
No, it's not supposed to be hazardous or anything,
Right.
or, I mean, you could
Yeah,
have some
I
of those
mean,
blue
it-
gloves on if you wanted to, but,
So 220 times 3
yeah,
plus 150,
yeah. What'd it come out?
810.
You might want to just throw 1,000 in there, so in case you want to get one more.
Yep. You can just put a whole number
It'd
in
be
there.
nice to be able to at least get Center Square done this year. That's what I'd like to see,
Yeah.
even if I have to give you the money for a 5-gallon bucket.
Well, I think most of us would,
But we got plenty of resources that'll help us learn how to do that and teach volunteers and all that. He
and
would,
I definitely think we should buy it and make it as a priority for us to get that done in the spring.
Yeah.
If there's not a temperature requirement, I mean, we could even do it over the winter without a lot of snow on the ground.
yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if you want to put it on when it's freezing.
As I said, if there's not a temperature requirement.
Well, I think we got quite a lot accomplished here.
We didn't prioritize these. I'll just, if you want, anybody want to adjust any of these, let me know.
Well, the ones that aren't easily accessible, I would say that those probably should be the last.
Yeah,
Well, Toby Hill's the tough one like that. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just seeing what he had. I mean, if he's got a four-wheel drive truck, you know,
Yeah, he
in
does.
he did.
the current state of the road, he should be able to put the stuff in the back of the truck there, because there's only, what do we have there? One broken and two leaners. So he only has three up there. It wouldn't take much. He could put his tripod in the back and
Yeah, and,
reset two and
Yeah.
fix the broken one like that. I mean, maybe a half a day up there for him like that, so. I always came in from Deering Center Road. Other people talk about coming in from the other way, other direction like that, but the road's long and windy, and I've never done it that way.
Right.
you're coming in off 149?
Yeah.
Oh, I always come in off the other side.
Last time I tried that, it was washed out, so that's why I did
Oh,
149.
really?
Yeah, it was so rutted up, and when you get to the top of the hill, there's a couple of huge puddles up there before you get to where
Yeah.
the graveyard, or cemetery's at.
So I know it could be done in any order. As far as the headstone cleaning, do we want to try and go behind the repairs, or just do whatever we can get done?
Well, everything he's repaired, he's done.
Right, but I mean, as far as the other ones inside the cemetery.
I don't know, I think start on one side and, you know, front to back or something, I don't know.
I mean, as far as cemeteries themselves.
You follow the priority order
Right.
up here.
Yeah, or is there, just get whatever we can get?
So we don't really have a readout of cemetery, of headstone dirtiness factor.
No.
Right.
No.
So that would be like another column, you know, how many need to be
They
cleaned?
all need to be cleaned, I can tell you, in all the old cemeteries, they all need to be cleaned.
Maybe you go with the oldest cemeteries, and you start from the back.
Huh?
Just hit the old ones and get what needs to be
Well,
done.
you are actually, because Eaton and Sugar Hill are old cemeteries, along with Oil Mill. Those are probably the next 3 or 4 oldest ones anyway.
Yeah, my thought behind just following what the repairs are is that we won't be cleaning something that he's then gonna touch because, you know, it's cracked or something.
Yeah, I think go behind whatever he does.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know, if something's totally good
Well, once the
shape.
cemetery's done with the headstone repairs, then we go in and clean what hasn't been touched, right?
That's kind of what I was
We
thinking.
wouldn't clean a broken one or a down one.
No, but if
It's gotta
you
get
weren't
cleaned.
sure, you cleaned it, and then he came back and did it, and then
Right.
he cleaned it, you know, so.
Yeah, we don't want to make more work. There's plenty to do. But I do think that we could look at Pine Grove and,
We should be able to look at Pine Grove, well, both
Johnson
Johnson and
and
East Ware
East Ware.
and Center Square, and
So because if we get the materials, there's no warrant article involved, now that's just a volunteer thing.
Mhm.
And now we can have a separate plan that says, okay, you know, where do we want to attack, you know, from a cleaning perspective, what do we want to do in the spring, what do we want to do in the summer? We could break up the year into 3 segments and
Right.
come up with a different movement, or, you know, we can go around to some cemeteries and take another look.
Right, but your volume, though, what you have in there for 2025 buying cleaning materials is enough to do approximately 200 headstones, and that's it.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not going to be enough.
Right.
There's more than that over there at 7 Square.
now the budget-wise, we're basing this 5-year plan on Cypre money,
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
which is separate than the cemetery trustees' budget.
Right.
Right, and that,
The cemetery's trustees'
That gets-
budget, that has to
that's
include all
primarily
the
the maintenance.
land maintenance, or the maintenance contract.
Mhm.
Does it
That's
include-
primarily what it is.
Primary, is there
Would it-
any other,
Would it include maintenance? Would it include
would
that
it
cleanup?
include the D2 cleaner?
I don't know, that's why we can put it in here, and if we can find out another source for it, then
Yeah.
it'd be great.
Yeah, trustees might decide, okay, that 1,000, we'll yank it into our budget.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, and maybe it's a
Take it out of
recurring
know-
expense, so it goes in the budget, I
You
don't.
know what they have in their budget right now for the cemetery?
For maintenance and things, I think it's somewhere around 35, 37, something like that, yeah.
That for like tree cutting and
Most of it is
That- and that's what
the
they-
maintenance contract.
That's what they get. That's coming from taxes every year.
Now
It's
you're
in
gonna
the-
get me, yeah.
Because
Some of it,
35 or 37,000 isn't very much. It must be close to that to clean all those cemeteries.
right, that's what I said, primarily it's for that activity.
It's in the operating budget, right, as a line?
Well, I don't wanna say that for sure, because some of it becomes from perpetual care money,
Yeah.
Which is not Cypre?
which is not Cypre.
Oh, right, that's dedicated.
It's listed in your
Yeah,
MS.
it's in the budget stuff,
It's in
but,
the MS page. I believe it's in the
MS page? Oh, the
MS9,
that form,
that, well, what you get is a summary of all the MS9s.
Yeah.
That's what Beth gave you.
Yeah.
you're pointing at something like do I have it?
Don't
You
have
meant-
a
you
copy
read it
of
off
the
your-
MS9?
off your
You
email.
looked up the 160,000. Didn't you look that up?
From Beth? On
Is
your
that
email?
separate from the Cypre on
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Oh, there's a fund?
I think there's a fund in that, yeah.
Yeah, they're called MS9s, that's the form that I get
MS9 is the
reported
form
on.
to,
You're
this
right.
is the MS9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what number are you looking for?
I think there's one in there for cemetery maintenance, but I don't know if it's spelled out that way or not.
Is it a fund?
It would be it would be in there where the
Cemetery-
Cypre money is.
Cemetery construction. Is that the one? That's
I don't think so.
14,000.
No.
That's for new cemeteries, or building out,
or-
right?
Yeah, for adding on or whatever.
This is not an MS9, by the way, it's just a
Oh,
fund list.
oh,
But it's the same idea, the MS9 would report,
Yeah.
report all the
Tonight.
fund balances.
yeah.
Um,
I think there's something in there. I'll have to look when I.
But there's nothing on here that
Oh, okay.
cemetery specific, other than
Janice,
construction.
maybe you can get us a full copy of that and ask Beth. If you're over here someday. I'm sure you're in here once in a while, right?
That would be,
occasionally.
is that in the operating budget? It's not a budget?
I think it's in that MS9 sheet.
That would be the trustees of the trust funds would have that, right?
Beth will have it.
Beth has it as
But,
well.
well, they file it to her.
Yes, they give it to her, but yes, she has it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, these are just funds. I don't know where it comes from, if it's not in a fund and it's not in the budget. Do we want to put another item in a future year to get more supplies?
Yes.
We could stick one in every year.
Well, I was gonna say, based on the amount and what Janice came up with, $1,000 is gonna cover how many again, did you say, 700 and,
No,
no,
No.
200,
200,
Doing
and
something.
about
Like-
200, a little over 200.
a little over
It's about
200 like
70
that every year we're gonna
Yeah, I
have
think
to
it
put
was-
in headstone cleaning materials.
70 headstones, we had, so it'd be, 210,
200.
210,
210.
roughly.
Roughly, yeah. So that's not gonna take care of Center Square,
Uh-uh.
not even close.
No.
Even with him already spraying 166 of them, it's not gonna take care of it.
Yeah, not all of them are gonna need to be cleaned.
Oh, I think you're gonna, not,
You think so?
not the newer ones maybe, but that old section, which is about 2/3 of the cemetery, all of those are gonna have to get cleaned.
Okay.
And it looks even worse when you sit there and you see the cleaned one.
Yeah, you see a clean
And the
one,
next
that
one next to it is
is
not
black.
clean. You're like, oh yeah, that is pretty dirty. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw some this
I
morning.
just happened to bring this. This is an article in New Hampshire Magazine, and it's about the headstones and a couple going out and cleaning them. Look at this one.
Yeah,
Yeah, they'll stand
it's
out.
like it's in the
Wow,
shade.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna take the priority number off the materials.
Okay,
That makes sense, yeah,
Yep.
I would take it off.
Yeah. And then I can just add one in every year.
Maybe we can
I
get,
would. That
maybe
makes
we
sense,
can get
yeah,
a
for every
donation
year.
for materials.
Yeah,
I could think of some place we could get that from,
What's that?
donation for materials.
Oh,
yep.
Good?
The other thing that comes to mind is I have driven by multiple times on East Road there is the fence for Center Square. It's a wooden fence too in the front.
Yeah,
And
it's
in
tough
It's in
shape.
pretty sad shape.
Yeah, I don't know, we probably should just get a rough idea of what that, composite board material is, cost, and how many feet of it we'd actually need over there. And the posts too would have to get replaced, because they're probably in tough shape too.
Where, Center Square?
Center Square.
Aren't they granite?
I think they're
Oh, no.
granite
Those
too.
I think it's granite.
I think those are.
Oh,
it-
those
this-
are granite there,
Yeah,
right,
those
you're
just
right.
like Sugar Hill. They're
Same
attached
Sugar
to
Hill, the
granite.
granite, but the wood goes in between a little,
Oh, another piece of wood,
yeah,
yeah,
like you don't have to do any welding or metal work or anything on
just a
those.
bolt, they bolt them through.
Yeah, it's bolted through. You know, I thought about that, and I see it at my house like that, because I did a composite deck and everything like that, and like twice a year, I have to go through and pressure wash it, because it's enough that it gets mildew on it, it starts to get the green mildew.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So,
You'd have to pressure wash
I
it
know.
occasionally.
Yeah,
Well, at
but
least
who-
it wouldn't be rotten and broken.
well, that's true, but I also thought there's, a lot of cemeteries will do a wrought iron type fence, this is made out of aluminum.
Aluminum,
And I think instead of using wrought iron, you know, I mean, to me, it's kind of a, I hate to say it, one and done. You put it up like that, you don't have to paint it, you're not gonna have to pressure wash it.
yeah.
I mean, it's a thought in the long term. You know,
Well,
is it worth considering? And these photos I took from Monadnock Fence Company that's out of Swansea. There are multiple companies in the area, we would just have to go out with them and see what it would cost to do across the front. And the same with Sugar Hill, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, that actually looks very nice.
yeah,
I think some of these.
that, I like
have-
that one.
It looks like wrought iron, but
Well,
it's,
if you
Composite.
drive down into Goffstown there and you look at both sides of the
Oh, they
cemetery,
have,
it's-
they've just
well, on the
put some
same
new
thing,
stuff
yeah.
up there on the left.
Yeah, on the
too.
left-hand side, so I mean, this is similar, this
Yeah.
photo on the left like that, so I mean,
Have you
it's
got a
it's
price
thought.
on that per se?
No, because
Yeah, just
it-
curious.
It's
it's.
an idea.
It's an idea like that,
Yeah.
you know, and if it's,
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
It looks great.
I don't have anything else as far as the 5-year plan. The only other thing I did, there's a second or third page there.
Yeah.
I had checked with Goffstown, they maintain 3 cemeteries, and they do most of the work. The only time they ever think about recording anything is if it's outside vendors that work on it, and then they just use invoicing to track it.
Right,
They don't have a maintenance form, so I just did a simple spreadsheet.
yeah,
An example here is the first line, or line 2 is there, is John, John Gillette. The cleanup like that, and then the next one there is based on the emails that went back and forth there, is Center Square, the monument repairs. And I like putting in completed by there, the company that did it, a name, phone number, the amount, and then the notes there is where you can basically explain the repair, restoration of 163 headstones that were leaning, fallen, or broken. I mean, there may be more, but at least it gives a,
I just want to mention something that I spoke with Keith. Yeah, actually, I ran into him the other day, and
the Cornerstone guy.
yeah,
Yep.
and he said that, the sooner that we put that out to bid, if that's what we're gonna do, so he can bid on it, the better, because says, once I get full for the year, I'm not gonna be able to come back and do anything. If you
Yeah.
don't, if I have 3 people get a hold of me in, January and February, and it fills my whole summer and fall up, then,
Right.
You
you
can't,
guys don't come in till the end of March,
can't do one until after the election though,
right?
right?
I know, can't,
Can't put an RFP out.
right, so, just,
Well, we can have the RFP ready to go, and if it passes,
yeah,
get sent out, right, right on March 6th, whatever it is.
yeah, you may not, I'm just saying that,
Yeah,
he mentioned that.
and we should put that
Oh,
on our
that certainly
agenda
makes sense.
for February to get that RFP put together,
Put
just in
together.
case.
Yeah,
So who's gonna present?
I think I was tagged to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, we can
We
we
do
can
it together.
tag team like that. So what
Okay.
I'll do there is, I had uploaded them to the Google Drive there, is we have some of the photos of, well, we'll take just fiscal year like 2025, and we could do some of
Yeah, we can blast it up there.
the leaning headstones for Eaton and Sugar Hill like that in Oil Mill. So if they're asking, well, why did this the priority list, and why do we
Yeah.
consider
Yeah.
these for 25 instead of 26, we can,
You
you know,
just
we
show 'em
can,
these.
we can back it up with some of the photos we have of
Yeah,
those 3 cemeteries.
yeah.
I can bring your modified PowerPoint. I think it's on here already from,
It should be,
I can-
because
we
I
can just-
uploaded
we
it
can
for
just-
you, and,
pull those pages up to the top of the list and then just, I can do that easily.
well, there's other ones I took there where I call them assessment photos. There's a folder on there, it says assessment photos, and they're all labeled by cemetery, so you should be able to go through and pull those up.
So we just grab the Oil Mill, Sugar Hill, Eaton,
In
and
Eaton.
just show them what it looks
Yep,
like.
yeah, the condition of
And
those.
then some cleaning. I got a picture of a headstone that was clean.
One that was clean,
And maybe we can pull up one of a dirty one and, contrast.
yeah, sounds good.
I got one from Center Square that was cleaned nicely.
Is there any other headstone restoring or repairing work at Center Square that can be done?
I
Needs
think
to be
everything-
done.
Oh, with that money? The
We
left
still have $5,092. We can either give it back or,
We buy the cleaning
Well,
materials?
we could buy all the cleaning material.
well, I was gonna ask, is,
If we can use it for that, I mean, that's
is,
for the.
We'd have to use it
for the
on Center
headstones.
Square specifically.
right, that would have to
Probably there's a
be
lot of
Center
headstones in
Square
there.
specifically, but,
We could get, if we can get the 1,000, we can use that on other cemeteries.
right.
Dedicate some purchase to Center Square directly. Do it now, yeah.
Would
Spend it.
that, in your mind, be restoring and repairing headstones? Cleaning them?
Restoring the headphones.
Restoring
Restoring.
headstones.
Okay.
I consider restoring headstones,
Yeah,
We couldn't use it on fence work or anything like that.
No.
It has to be headstones, right?
It says headstones.
specifically,
Yeah.
yes, specific
I don't know, it
headstones.
said restoring or repairing.
yeah,
Restoring and repairing.
Cleaning is a restoration, I think. It
Right.
preserves it,
yeah,
keeps it from breaking down.
yeah. I think we're all set, yeah.
That's a restoration. Whenever you restore something, you clean it.
Okay, so then I think that needs to be our recommendation, is to spend the remaining 5,000 on cleaning materials for Center
And
Square.
if we don't use it all, then at some point, it'll have to go back, I guess. If we only use 25.
We wouldn't want to buy $5,000 worth of D2.
No, but
Where would
some
we store
amount,
Yeah,
What's that?
some amount.
we won't know until we're done cleaning there, that's what that amounts to, right?
Spending some of the, is that, trustees decide that? Or is that, it's been allocated from Mildred
Well,
Hall?
it was, it was allocated for Center Square.
No, I know, but, do we have to ask the trustees' permission to buy D2 with that money for that cemetery?
I think so,
I mean, we should,
yeah,
but
yeah.
just from a scope standpoint.
Yeah.
Well, I think so, because we're only an advisory
Right.
committee, so we have to,
Well, yeah, right.
Oh, so you're saying we have to ask
The trustees.
the trustees? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not the selectmen, the
Yeah.
trustees.
No, I was thinking you were.
Not
I thought
asking
you meant
Mildred Hall.
Hall.
No,
And
not
I said
Mildred
no.
Hall.
No, that money-
5,092.
So that money has been spent according to Mildred Hall. Some of it may come back. But the cemetery trustees need to decide if we can use some of the remaining, okay?
Yeah.
So for
It's 5,092.
almost 6,000.
No, 5,000,
$5,092.
Oh,
5092.
5,100,
Yeah,
sorry.
if you wanna put it on your sheet there. 92.
God, I can't type with this keyboard. Okay,
And that's money available now. We could do that now.
yeah. Yeah, we just gotta find out if it could be done in cold weather. or,
You probably can pull it right up on the computer, just type in D2.
Just, yeah, put in D2
You
and we
probably
should be able to
can get the
see what the
information, the
specs are.
spec sheet.
I can
right
ask
off the-
Ron too, he
right
probably
off
already
the
knows the
computer.
answer. I can give him a shout. Okay.
Someday, if you guys are going up to the Green Cemetery, I've never been in that cemetery. That's the only one I've never been to.
Lonely little headstone, all up there by itself.
That's the only one up there?
Yep, only one
Oh.
up there.
Well,
The
we
cellar
won't do it
hole
right
though is,
away.
the cellar hole is immense, it's huge.
Hmm.
And that for the foundation for the barn,
Was that there?
Ezra Green.
Oh, that,
never
the
had
two,
that one.
it's one, it's a twofer on one block, right?
Yeah, it's
Two people?
Ezra, Minerva, and is it Abigail?
Three people,
Yeah,
it's
it's
big.
Abigail, I think, was the wife, and Minerva was the daughter, all three of them are.
Oh, that's off of Evan Page, yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice out there. What's the one, up the hill where the woman came out with the rubbings? Which one was that again?
Oh, that's Joseph Wilson.
That's
On
Wilson.
Norris Road.
That's the tomb, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the two.
Yeah,
But there were,
there was
there
more,
were stones on top, right?
Well, I was thinking, when I went back this fall like that, the brambles, like blackberry bushes, were probably
Oh, that's-
3 to 4 feet
that's the
high, and
one
I
you're
could only
talking
see one stone up, and,
Yeah.
and the whole top is completely covered
there
in
used to be
brambles.
several
And that's the
stones
one that
there,
you-
so if
Well, I
there's-
remember her saying one had, had fallen down, and like one had been taken or something like that, and so.
So that's the one you marked here. There could be,
Exactly, that's the only, I could only see one stone that had a lean to it, I couldn't see any other ones, that's why I only had.
and I put the note, could be additional
Exactly, yeah,
headstones.
could be additional.
Yeah,
Could be, I would say,
You're gonna send this sheet out, Tom,
1 to
to
3.
us.
Yes,
Okay.
I'll email it back to everybody.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay. This is good. It's a plan.
Anything else? I think that's it.
From a old business, we're just gonna keep an eye out. We said after the 8th of December, we might go out to the pest house.
Yes.
Keep an eye on it. Just,
Well, just shoot up, email out, or give me a phone call, whatever,
we got a,
shouldn't be a problem.
it's, that's like 2 weeks from now. 3 weeks,
3, I think.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it was 3, the tentative date we had set was the 15th.
after the, oh, right, the 15th.
Yeah, it was after deer season like that, because deer season went to the 8th.
Went to the 8th.
Yeah, so we were looking
Be
at,
the
Yeah, I
following
think we had tentatively said the 15th.
yeah, we had
Yeah.
to the 15th,
The
okay, so.
15th, yeah. So just, I'll put it down in my iPad, the 15th,
Yeah, there's nothing in here about temperature requirements, but I'm sure there's specs on it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like popping up as a
Well,
red
because-
flag.
Because he's already sprayed them, and we hadn't had any rain until last night. And he said it takes quite a few rain showers to get all of it off, so, we're freezing now at night, so I don't think it's a problem. I don't know if I'd wanna do it in the dead of winter, but I don't know.
Okay.
Dean Cemetery.
So if they wanna know how much do we wanna buy out of the $5,092, what's the answer?
Well, we don't know for sure how many headstones are there, but if we just said, say 600, we'd be talking 9
9?
containers. That'd be 1,800, plus you gotta buy the sprayers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe say 2,500 to be safe, I don't know.
Okay.
And we always can go back and revisit it if we come up short.
Suggest 2,500?
Yeah, it's just a guess, I mean, I really don't know. I think the last burial in there might have been in the either 80s or maybe early 90s, the last burial in that cemetery.
Center Square?
Square.
Oh, really?
I don't think there's been anything recent, real recent, but
Okay.
wanna make a motion?
I can say, I think if we're done, yeah, I'd make a motion to adjourn the work
Adjourn.
session.
Okay,
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Yes.
Yep.
yes.
All right, that's it, we're done. Thank you.
Well, my, you know what, my thing wasn't even on.
It's 7:17.
Probably I'm talking this way, so probably you can hear it.
I was gonna say, you should probably pick this up.
You should mention that, because I don't even think about it.